Hey, good morning and happy Monday. It is your anchor, Crystal Moyer, here filling in for Bridget while she's taking her kiddies to school on that first day. It is Monday, August 12th, 2024. And if your kids are still in bed, get them up. It is time to get them up and going on this first day of school for thousands of kids throughout Central Florida. We're going to talk about your weather with meteorologist Julie Broughton. We're going to get a look at your traffic with Trooper Steve. And we also have team coverage on back to school because there were a few schools in Orange County that may not have opened this morning because of some permitting issues. We also have some safety changes after a student was killed in Port Orange. Our reporter Ezzy Castro is going to talk a little bit about that. We also have a special interview. This month is National Breastfeeding Awareness Month, and we have some ladies here from Eatwell Exchange. They're going to talk about raising awareness and about reducing inequalities among lactating mothers. Important subject here for a lot of moms, so we're going to get to that in just a moment. But first, let's bring in meteorologist Julie Broughton to talk a little bit about the weather. Good morning. You're here early.
I know it's back to school Monday, so I popped in to do a few cut-ins so Candace could take her wee ones to school.
And
So,
it's funny because Bridget and Candace are taking their little ones, but Isla, she's a teenager now, so I don't think she wants mom hanging around and taking those photos on the first day of school.
when Candace and I were talking about this, I said, she's in high school now. She can't be walked in. Like, it's not a big deal for me to come in and, do a few cut-ins for you because of course little kids, they still want to be walked in, they still want the pictures with the teacher, and high school kids, they're
Yeah.
not they're not getting walked to their first period class by mom, so
Well, Julie,
we're
you're a
all
cool mom, so I mean, I would want you to walk me into my classroom. I'm cool with that. So
good. I don't know about that. Have you been outside already? Which you probably haven't been outside since about 3 this morning, already feeling a little muggy, and that's the deal. That's what we expect in August. But again, today we are talking about heat advisories in place for Flagler and Marion counties, and look at what we're expecting for our heat index readings this afternoon. By the time you pick the kids up from school or by the time they're heading to their after school practices, it will feel like 106 in Orlando. Will feel like 107 this afternoon in Leesburg, also 107 in Palm Coast. And in Cocoa Beach, it will feel like 103 this afternoon. Again, we do have those heat advisories in place for the counties shaded in orange. So that's Flagler and Marion counties. Those are up until 6 o'clock this afternoon. So again, we are just talking about a toasty day. Our actual high by 4 o'clock will reach 96 degrees. Now, as we head through the morning hours, by 11 o'clock, it starts heating up. We'll be in the mid to upper 80s. Then by around 3 o'clock, that's when we'll see that sea breeze collision. So we're keeping our rain chances today at 60%, and we'll still be tracking some showers and thunderstorms even to around 7, 8 o'clock, but we'll start to see things quieting down by the time we get to around sunset. Your clouds and rain forecast, we're expecting some showers to start popping up even by around noon. The general movement today will be again from west to east. Then we'll see that sea breeze collision by around 3 o'clock. Notice areas like northern Lake County, back down into Seminole and Orange County, and also over along the Cape. That's when we'll start to see things intensifying by 5 o'clock. Again, it looks like the heaviest activity should be along the I-4 corridor or beginning to shift east of the I-4 corridor, just in time for the drive home. Then 6 o'clock, I think our southern counties still dealing with some pockets of heavier rain. We could see some gusty winds, also a lot of lightning, and then we will keep it quiet as we roll through the overnight hours. So again, expect those sea breeze collisions. Now, we do want to take you out to the tropics. We are watching potential tropical cyclone 5. All the models are in pretty good agreement that this will become our next system. The next name on the list is Ernesto. The hurricane hunters are flying in there this morning to check this out, see what's going on. So it could even become a tropical depression today, depending on what they find with that. But all of the models are in good agreement that this will take a turn out in the Atlantic once it moves through the islands, and will only be really a factor for us as far as some rough surf this weekend. But this could become a Category 2 hurricane by Saturday morning with winds at 110 miles per hour. Of course, that is something we will be watching. Here's how it looks for you for the next 7 days. Tomorrow, again, more of the same. And then toward the end of the week, we are watching a front that could bring us slightly lower rain chances and not a dramatic cool down. But hey, at this point, if we could just get back to normal, which is low 90s, we'll take it, because we have not seen normal temperatures on a regular basis in a while. So we have been abnormal. Yeah. So
it's so
no
funny
major
when you
cool down.
guys talk about the cool down, and it's like
I
when we get
know.
down to the low 90s, that is a cool down from what we've been experiencing lately.
Right. At this point, when you're used to 96, 97 heat index readings in the low 100s, a high of 92, it does actually feel different. I know that sounds crazy, but you can feel it.
We'll take it. Why not?
Yeah,
We're in Florida, so I can't complain too much.
absolutely.
Well, thank you so much, Julie. All right, so we're going to check in with Trooper Steve. He's got some breaking traffic alerts to talk about, and then we're going to touch a little bit on some back to school new equipment that will be used in Osceola County. So let's go ahead and bring in Trooper Steve from the traffic center. Good morning.
Good
It's so
morning.
nice to see your face again.
Well, I was just how you guys stare at my Facebook. I was staring at yours while you were just in your tropical environment and not here with us. Yeah. No, you enjoyed it. It was great. I'm so happy that you got to get away for a little bit.
It was nice. It was nice to have my braids in, didn't have to do my hair. I didn't put on makeup. I just did not care.
That's the best part. I wish we could walk in like that here. We would have no problem. I don't think the viewers would
I
be
don't think
very happy
they
with
would
it.
care. um,
Yeah, they'd be like, "Yo, what's going on?"
so, as I understand, we have a traffic alert, a potentially deadly crash
Yeah,
involving a pedestrian.
Yeah, this just came out a little while ago. We can go straight to the traffic maps here. So, morning commute, it's already going to be different this morning, but we are seeing a fatal crash confirmed by the Florida Highway Patrol eastbound Colonial Drive. Right now, they have it shut at Dean, so they've cleared a lot of the traffic out that was between Dean and Rouse Road. But if you're headed east, meaning from Orange County towards Waterford Lakes, towards Brevard County, that would be your eastern direction. That area is going to be shut down. This is a hit and run crash, vehicle versus pedestrian. Pedestrian, unfortunately, was transported to the hospital but died at the hospital. So this is going to be quite a scene out there for quite some time. So I'm asking that you avoid it as much as possible. We are starting to get a little busy out here, so we need you to pay attention. There was an earlier crash along 434 in Kennedy. That's been cleared out. But 434 does become a school zone for about 100 feet. So please be careful as we check out some of our school zones. Look how red it gets. We come down here along Edgewater, just outside the Bishop Moore area, seeing those delays along Parr and the College Park area. So we've got to increase that following distance. I do have a crash at Silver Star headed east between Apopka Vineland and Hiawassee. But just further east of that, the intersection there, we're talking right there along Silver Star and Pine Hills, bumper to bumper. Trying to mix four words into one doesn't work out too well. I wouldn't recommend it. And then Apopka Vineland, north and southbound, and then even on Hiawassee. So this is what I was talking about, Crystal, most of the morning, is people just need to get ready for the delays. Point Siena, Pleasant Hill, I'm sorry. I say sorry because it's only about a month and a half that you guys never have traffic. Now, we'll have it for the rest of the year. Pleasant Hill northbound is 1792, gridlock right now. When I say gridlock, that's probably a 40-minute commute out of Point Siena just to get to Kissimmee. I know that's insane to say out loud. 192 east and westbound, we're bumper to bumper, and so is Boggy Creek. Because why? We have three schools there. So what's the lesson to this, ladies and gentlemen? Just need to pay attention, please. Just pay
Yeah.
attention. That's
I
all I'm asking.
and I
That's
think,
all I'm asking.
all parents need constant reminder because we're not in that summer flow anymore of traffic. We're back to school. So you've got those buses out there, you've got pedestrians, you've got bicycle riders out there.
Right.
So heed that warning, be safe. And Steve, you're very involved in the community, and I don't think a lot of people know that you are a part of the Osceola County Public School Safety Task Force. So you got to take a
Right.
peek at some new weapons detection system that will be put in some schools right now. It's at Osceola High School.
Yeah, in order to keep my glass full, I do a lot of things outside of here, whether it's trooping or serving on different boards and stuff. So originally I started on the school district's school task force for their school resource officers. So once we ended that task force, they asked me to join the safety and security committee for the Osceola County School District. We meet quarterly, we discuss policies. We look at what's happening, and it's a diverse group of people from different backgrounds, and we try to implement what the biggest changes should be that can get results. And so we implemented and all agreed on these new weapons detection systems that are being installed at Osceola High School. If you look at them, they may look familiar. Why? Because these have also been located at some theme parks. They're mobile. They could be ramped up, ramped down, depending on the sensitivity of things that they are looking for. And the coolest thing is they're lightweight. So there will be assigned at Osceola High School. And if a football game is happening, they could pick them up and they can move them out towards the stadium, things like that. So, of course, there's going to be some bumps in the road. There's going to be some slowdowns, just like I'm sure the school bus slowdowns for students getting in. But this is here to stay. This is not going anywhere. And it is 100% mandatory for every student to walk in and out of while they are entering campus. And taking a deep dive in that, that was pretty cool stuff.
Thanks, Steve. That is really interesting. And you say that this program may expand to other schools.
Yeah, so they of course, you buy it, you want to test it out and just to see if it's going to work. So what their hope is this should reduce some of the weapons that did enter into the school last year that they caught. But at the end of the day, they want to use it as a deterrent. So don't bring stuff like this. So they're going to look at this throughout the school year. And based off of the cost, some of the stuff you look at, it's crazy expensive, but when their budgets are big, they could afford certain things. So if it works and they like it, this will be expanded to every high school in the Osceola County School District.
All right, in the name of safety, thank you so much, Trooper Steve. We'll check back in with you later, and we'll see you on Trooper Steve on patrol.
Yes, ma'am. 10 a.m. Join me.
All right, and parents and students will be seeing some safety changes in Volusia County, and this was after a tragic crash that a student was riding a bike, got hit by a car last year outside of Sugar Mill Elementary School. She had passed away, and so now the school district is ramping up some safety measures when it comes to traffic, adding some speed signs, some bumps, and just making people more aware if they're driving in the area and near school zones. So News 6's Izzy Castro explained that tragedy at Sugar Mill Elementary School is getting the school district to kind of take a closer look at that safety around all schools in the area.
Would you say the school's pretty much ready to go as far as the kids walking and the parents driving in that area?
Everything is ready. We are ready for students. So yes, we are ready to go.
I spoke to Volusia County Superintendent Dr. Carmen Balgobin about all the safety changes done to Sugar Mill Elementary School in Port Orange ahead of the first day of school. It comes after 10-year-old Sha'alan Kamali was struck and killed while riding her bike on the crosswalk in May. I know Sugar Mill, unfortunately with the incident that happened earlier this year, what is the current status? What can parents and students look forward to moving forward with that school?
So I want our students and our parents to know that when it comes to safety and security, that is our number one priority. It is always our number one priority to keep our students safe, but also our faculty and staff.
And ever since, things like extra signage, new speed bumps, and even a right turning lane were added on campus. Balgobin explained how they used the tragedy to enhance safety measures at all Volusia County schools. The district also assigned extra motor officers to several schools to kick off the first day of school.
I do want all of our parents to understand that we use that opportunity to look at every single school in our district and determine what are some enhancement features that could be incorporated by working collaboratively with our cities.
That was our Izzy Castro, and we continue our back to school coverage with team coverage with our Mark Lehman, who actually talked about some schools that got right down to the wire, almost didn't open today for the first day of school because one was under renovation, and that is Howard Middle School. The other one, Luminary Middle School near Lake Nona, which is a brand new middle school, because they didn't have the proper permitting. So it got down to the wire there, but they are opening today, so students and teachers will be back in class. And News 6's Mark Lehman is following that story.
After weeks of uncertainty at two Orange County middle schools, parents finally got the call they've been waiting for.
We have received the necessary approvals for faculty and staff to return to campus today to prepare for our students to return to school tomorrow, Monday, August 12th.
Howard Middle School, which is in the middle of a $36 million renovation project, cleared inspections over the weekend. The same goes for newly built Luminary Middle, which also got its certificate of occupancy, holding its open house just yesterday.
When I got the notification today that the school was going to be done in time, I felt relieved and I felt like I could actually go to school now.
The district says construction delays put the start date at both schools in jeopardy.
Well, I was panicking. Everybody else was pretty calm about it, but I was starting to get worried.
And while minds have been put at ease, the district says the situation also requires a closer look. Orange County Superintendent saying she doesn't want to see anything like this happen again.
We've never had it cut this close, ever. And so I want to know, what is it that we could have done differently, where we do hold our contractors accountable.
That was Mark Lehman. And the next story we have to talk about is one that made national headlines. In just hours, jury selection will begin in the trial of a woman accused of killing her neighbor through a closed door. Now, we're talking about Susan Lawrence. She's being charged with manslaughter for the death of A.J. Owens, their neighbors. Investigators say it happened when Owens went to confront Lawrence about throwing a pair of roller skates at her kids. Some confrontation there. News 6, of course, we're going to be in the courtroom and let you know when a jury is seated and testimony gets underway. But according to those representing the Owens family, her kids will be there during that trial. So we're going to have a quick break, and when we come back, we'll have a live interview about National Breastfeeding Awareness Month. Stay with us. Hey, welcome back to Breakfast with Bridgett. I'm Crystal Moyer, filling in for her. And if you didn't know, August is National Breastfeeding Awareness Month. It's a topic that many might not talk about, but we should be talking about. And joining me live right now is Ashley Carter and Jasmine Westbrooks. They are founders of Eatwell Exchange, working to raise awareness and reduce inequalities among lactating mothers. Good morning, and thank you for joining us, ladies. So tell me a little bit about, when we talk about breastfeeding and women, and this is something that when you hear about new mothers, there can be some issues when it comes to breastfeeding and then some negative connotations behind it.
Well, I'll start off by saying that most of us are never truly educated on breastfeeding. So it's not something a lot of us learn in school.
Mm-hmm.
We really don't talk much about it. Even in medical professions, we don't. Both of us are registered dietitians. And then all of a sudden, you get pregnant and you're supposed to be an expert at breastfeeding. Everyone's looking at you for answers. So that's what we're doing today. We want to bring some education on what breastfeeding is, why it's important, and why there's some disparities. The main thing to know is that every woman can breastfeed regardless of breast size, regardless of socioeconomic status. So it's a great way to even the playing field and help your baby have the healthiest start.
Yeah. And, the CDC came out with a report saying 60% of mothers don't breastfeed as long as they intend to. Why is that?
I honestly think there's lack of support sometimes, and moms aren't aware of the support that is out there. So that's why it's so important for this particular month, right? To bring awareness to the support that's out there. Also to bring awareness to the challenges and let moms know that they're not alone if they do have challenges with breastfeeding, because oftentimes there may be goals set during that pregnancy period that you're going to breastfeed exclusively, and it's going to be, a great experience. But it's good to have support from others, whether it's from an international board certified lactation consultant or just even family or friends to kind of guide you through that support.
And there's some cultural norms that can get in the way here, especially when it comes to race. Can you touch on some of those?
Definitely. So when it comes to cultural norms, a lot of times there's myths that some cultures have, like if you're upset, you shouldn't breastfeed. If your breasts are too small, you shouldn't breastfeed. And all of those are not true. Breastfeeding is absolutely the best option for everyone. And that's because your milk is custom made for your baby. So it's like having a private chef for your baby every single day that's making milk that's going to have the right immune support your baby needs, the right temperature, the right nutrients, and everything as your baby continues to grow. So absolutely the best. And it's just one of those things to educate yourself. So that's family, friends, coworkers, employers, really get some knowledge on breastfeeding. So that way, even if you're not physically the person nursing, you're able to help someone who is.
And I know a lot of new moms might be concerned about medications or things that they're eating and that how that could affect the milk that they're, going to feed to their child if they breastfeed.
Absolutely. I know Ashley and I, when we worked at WIC, we saw that a lot where moms would hear again certain myths, but there are certain things that can impact baby when it comes to breastfeeding. But it's not for every single baby. So I think it depends on mom to really be aware of the different behaviors that their baby may be experiencing. Like if they notice there's a lot of gas or digestion problems, then it may be a good conversation to bring up to their provider, or even to just family and friends to see if they've had that same experience.
And I think it's important to let women and new moms know that they can advocate for themselves. I think when it comes to workplace, we're seeing differences here with, some workplaces now offering, private areas for them to go pump or breastfeed. And you're seeing this at airports as well. What do you have to say about women advocating for themselves and speaking up if this is something that they want to do?
We say that that's everyone's job. So the mom who's breastfeeding and then everyone else around should educate themselves on the rules and regulations of breastfeeding. One of them is that women should be provided a space to nurse. So that's not a bathroom because we don't eat our food. We don't eat lunch in the bathroom. So you shouldn't breastfeed in the bathroom either. And that's giving them space to breastfeed the proper time. And for employers, it's beneficial to know that when a woman is breastfeeding, she's going to decrease the chances that her baby is sick. So that means that she's going to be out from work less. So it's important to have that breastfeeding in place, and also it increases the bond of the mom to the baby when she's away. So it's very beneficial. And there's lots of rules when it comes to when you can breastfeed or how you can breastfeed, depending on your employee size and the job size. So you should become knowledgeable about that. But overall, just know that breastfeeding is absolutely the best option, and it's great for the mom and also everyone surrounding.
And, Ashley and Jasmine, I don't know if you both are mothers or one of you. Can you share some of the experiences that you've had yourself or someone you know, and what was the biggest obstacle when it came to breastfeeding?
I think for me, I remember growing up actually, and remember my grandmother babysitting someone or someone's child, infant that was breastfeeding. And it was almost like a secret. I remember her putting like the breast milk in the refrigerator and saying, this is mom's milk and don't touch it. Or just a stigma around like it being a secret and not really educating me on it. Even though I was a teenager, it was something that I was always curious about, like, oh, breastfeeding, that actually then encouraged me to ask my mom, like, Mom, was I breastfed? So even though I'm not a mother right now, I think it is still important to just talk about it in conversation, because most of us get curious about what is breastfeeding? What is the difference between breast milk? How can it benefit me? And it's important to have those conversations and stop being so silent about it, because it is a benefit to Black moms everywhere.
Hmm. I think that's important to mention too, the stigma around it. This is something that's so natural, right? So when people are so
Yeah.
secretive and, where can I go breastfeed my child? I'm like, this is something that everyone should have availability if they want that as their option. So I think that's really interesting. Thank you for sharing that perspective with us. We have probably a minute left. Is there one last thing you would like to share with us?
I do want to touch on the cost savings because breastfeeding is free. And we know that when it comes to formula, regardless of whatever brand you use, or even if you're on a supplemental program like WIC, you're still going to end up purchasing some formula on your own. So a breastfeeding mom typically saves between $2,000 to $4,000. Yes, is that expensive? So that is a huge it's a huge benefit for breastfeeding families, because if you can save $4,000 a year, what could you use that money towards? So, what I encourage you to do is educate yourself, learn about breastfeeding, learn about supply and demand, meaning the more you nurse, the more your body creates. And just know that you and your baby are unique. So, you may have challenges, but it's worth it to push through and reach out to breastfeeding peer counselors, your WIC department, international board certified lactation consultants as well.
All right. Thank you so much, ladies. Ashley Carter and Jasmine Westbrooks, founders of Eatwell Exchange. We appreciate your time and expertise on this National Breastfeeding Awareness Month. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you.
Bye, you
Speak to you.
too.
All right, we're going to close things off with some contests that we have going on. If you are a New Six Insider, listen up. If you're not, you better sign up. It's free. We have a special contest going on about the Coke Zero 400 that includes a special meet and greet. You have several chances to win if you head to clickorlando.com/insider. We're also giving away a brand new refrigerator and a $500 Walmart gift card. It's back to school. We know those kids need to eat, so we want to help you out. And we've also extended our Kroger grocery delivery gift card contest. If you head to clickorlando.com/insider, you can enter daily for that one as well. There's 20 winners for that contest, so more chances to win. Thank you so much for joining us with Breakfast with Bridgett. I'm Crystal Moyer. Bridgett will be back for this show tomorrow. Have a wonderful and safe day.